Welcome to the Nightly Rant
with
your hosts, Mike
and Torya.
This is the show where we examine society from a sarcastic point of view.
If you like insane conversations, this is definitely the show for you.
Let's get into today's topic.
You know, it seems one of the perks of living in Las Vegas is how many of these tech shows and all different type of shows come through town.
And there's certainly a ton of them, isn't there?
And then we're luckily considered media, so we usually get to go for free.
Basically anything happening in Vegas, we can get press tickets to.
Like just recently, we went to the Consumer Electronics Show, CES, and that sucker's getting big. Like it was in hotels all the way towards, what's it called? Park MGM.
There was 3 campuses.
Like that's a lot.
There was 3 campuses last year when we went as well.
It's growing.
But it's pretty neat. We only went to Venetian this year, which is where a lot of the household consumer things were.
We kind of flipped it from last year because last year we mostly did the convention center and not so much the Venetian side of things. But I liked it better this way because the convention center was like a lot of walking, but not a lot of displays. The displays they had there were huge because it was like Ford would have like their technology on display of their cars, and they'd have like 50 feet by 50 feet, yards rather, not feet, like half a football field in every direction covered.
The one thing we were missing was the one area where there was like DJI and TCL and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the drones this year were in the convention center rather than in the Venetian.
Except the one drone we saw.
Yeah, the big ass one that we saw. But there was a lot of interesting. It's like, let's talk about the health tech first. You know, there was like everybody talks about the minute clinics that go into CVS and how exciting they are. And, this place had a booth that was about the size of a minute clinic. And it was a completely unmanned telemedicine portal. And people say, oh, well, why would you want to go there for telemedicine? Well, first of all, I mean, there's people there. There's like a receptionist, but you go inside. It has a blood pressure cuff. It can take your blood pressure right there. It can take your temperature with the thermometer that hits your forehead. It gets all your vital signs. Then the doctor's on the screen and can see you and can ask you questions. And if you need tests, they can be done right away. It was just amazing what it could do. And it was all, via technology.
It basically eliminated a need for nurses and made it so somebody sitting in a doctor call center somewhere else in the world could diagnose you.
Right. And imagine how many more people that doctor can see.
Yep.
So that one was kind of interesting. And then there was the pillow for people who snore. It was a sleep apnea pillow is what it was advertised as. And really what was really smart, because my first thought when I saw it was, great, just what I want. Electronics right next to my head all night long.
Was that like the Yellow Brick Road booth?
Yes.
Where you went into that creepy room by yourself?
Yeah. That you were supposed to go with me, but you bailed.
I wasn't going into a creepy room.
It wasn't creepy. It was just like a theater. It had a screen and it had a movie playing on the screen.
So
then anyway, it was just basic. So I'm like, oh, great. Technology where it's electronics right under my head all night, just what I need. And then in 10 years from now, they'll say how it scrambled your brain or it caused you brain cancer or something. So anyway, the guy says, yeah, there's no technology inside of the pillow. It's just like bladders, plastic bladders that are inside. And they have vacuum hose that goes off to this vacuum device that sits on your side table. And then that vacuum device has a sensor that listens for you. And if it hears you snoring, it slowly fills up the bladders and adjusts your neck position or your head so that you stop snoring.
Strange.
And all the technology's over there. And what's really interesting is I said to them, well, what if there's 2 people sleeping and they both want one of these? Well, it's really simple. One person trains theirs for like 2 weeks. And then the other person trains theirs for 2 weeks. And now the AI knows my voice, your voice. Now we can both turn them on at the same time. And
So
we
it
sound
takes like
great
4 weeks.
to get it trained.
Interesting.
But then after that, it's supposed to stop sleep apnea, which is pretty intriguing.
Pretty intriguing. Yep.
And, and there was a lot of wearables. Like we saw the ring,
There was like 6 rings.
Yeah, we saw the ring thing for health. Wearables are huge right now. But if you think about it, I would have liked to have something like that when I was much younger, because I could have told right away how the things that I was doing to myself was affecting me long-term health-wise.
Kind of a cool concept, really.
Well, it should, if people use them correctly and actually use them, they should live longer and be healthier.
Should.
If they use it. I mean, well, yes, we don't have proof yet.
And you won't for decades, unfortunately.
Right.
That's the problem with the tech, that they...
Well, and then like the pet stuff that we saw.
That thing was cool.
It was a vacuum and a brush. And it also had a razor, too.
Yeah. It was
It
a
also
full-on
had a
grooming
vacuum.
machine.
And it was so quiet.
Yeah.
Like, you could have used it on Pretty Girl. And she's the most skittish animal I've ever met.
Yeah, probably. It was very cool. And then we went to some, like, before the CES even started, we went to this media night thing. And it was like a preview, and they had a bunch of stuff.
It's called CES Unveiled.
And we saw this, like, creepy Furby thing that was pretty neat.
Yeah, there was a Furby-like thing.
It's like an AI Furby.
There was a dog that was AI. But the coolest thing that night was the little device that, everybody's on meetings, either Zoom meetings, Teams meetings, Google Meets meetings, some other kind of meeting. And then they're like, oh, well, so-and-so uses, zippity doo-dah Zoom account. And it's like a special proprietary type Zoom. Oh, the translator note thing doesn't work with that. Well, this one works with everything because they're earbuds.
And they just record your voice.
They record what you hear and puts it into a little box. And then they send it out to the cloud. And then later you can use AI to retrieve the information.
I thought the skateboard was going to be the coolest thing, but the people working the skateboard booth were so damn rude.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. But I really liked the Unveiled quite a lot because there wasn't as many people.
A shit ton of people.
So we got to see some really cool stuff.
How were there a shit ton of people?
Yeah, it's a very popular show. And think of how much money. I mean, it's a couple $1,000s.
Unveiled was only for media.
Yes.
Which is pretty interesting, considering some of those exhibits weren't even in the show.
Yeah.
Like the Furby was only... It wasn't called a Furby, but I don't remember what it was called, and it looked like a Furby. So that thing was only at Unveiled.
Yeah, weird, right?
Yep.
I mean, CES itself is very, it's expensive. It's very crowded because it's so popular.
Yeah, no shit.
And they keep expanding it a little bit more and a little bit more. But I think they need to move a little faster and expand it a little bit faster. Like, it could use more ground space.
Yeah. Wider walkways.
Well, yeah, especially at the back of the Venetian where they have those little companies that sell like the adapters that are, you buy 50 billion of them for $100 and then they print your logo on them so that you can give them away.
Those people only paid for 6 inches of space. That's why we skipped that area this year, because I remember walking through there last year and thinking to myself, wow, this is a huge waste of my time.
It was like a giant Alibaba or AliExpress in person.
Right.
Yeah, so we skipped it this year because, like you said, last year it was just useless.
And we saw the Narwhal's new competitor that apparently can pick up your laundry for you and then wash it.
Yeah, that's really bizarre. But what does it do with the laundry? How does it know where to put it?
I don't know. You'd have to ask.
It was pretty weird.
They
had like a laundry machine for like a college dorm room.
I almost wonder if you have to have their laundry facilities as well to get it to actually wash your laundry. And that if you only have the vacuum, it just like picks up your shit and puts it in the clothing pile.
Maybe. I really don't know because I didn't go that much into it. But, the narwhal people are doing some interesting things and they've changed some stuff.
They weren't very friendly either, the narwhal people. Not like last year.
You know what I could tell was a bit different? Last year, it was all employees.
Okay.
This year, you could tell they paid some of these people to be there.
Well, the people they paid were...
Yeah, they were, less than interested in the product.
Like, wouldn't you be kind of into media being, like, really into your product?
You would hope so. But it was... Then there was wasn't that where we also saw the TV where the rain was pouring down on the TV the whole entire time?
Yeah.
Wild.
The people who had the TV, they gave us gift bags with headphones in them. Like, how crazy is that?
They work.
Well, Mike can't figure out how to use it.
No, it didn't charge.
And that's somehow their fault that you were the problem between the chair and the charger.
It's not my fault that the thing is broken. I didn't make it. I didn't build it.
Totes your fault.
I just plugged the damn stupid thing in and it was working and then it's not.
Well, you broke it. How
I didn't
bad
break
is
it.
that?
Anyway, you're a psycho.
Ruined. Yes, you are.
So, anyway.
I can't remember anything else really cool that we saw.
Well.
Other than the dude who tried to sell you on a cap cut replacement that really is just the biggest piece of crap.
I don't even remember what it was called.
You literally looked at it.
I have the card still sitting at my...
So excited to talk to us too. Like, he came up and he was asking me all these questions and I was like,
how do you edit your videos?
I don't. That dude does. And then he
assaulted me.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for that.
I thought he was going to be great.
He was great. Lee. It was an interesting show overall. I kind of felt a little underwhelmed by some of what I saw. But like I said, I mean, a couple of things that I saw in the health area really got my attention. Like that pillow really got my attention for one. I thought that was really interesting. Although I think they need to come up with a better way to train the damn thing. Like, why not?
2 weeks seems a little long.
Why not have a slot for like a USB drive to go in and you record your voice saying something that they tell you to say out of a manual? And then you put it in there and they're like, there, this is my voice. This is what I sound like when I'm sleeping. I don't know. It's weird. Super weird.
I mean, that problem only occurs if you have two people who want to use it. So there's that.
Well, but as we were just talking about, if people want to stay healthy, they probably should use these things that are out there.
I would be much happier with something that attached to my existing pillow.
The thing that I find interesting is this. I'll just close out our discussion of technology and health with this. I use that lumen thing. And essentially, you breathe in, you hold your breath, and whatever, when it turns into CO2, I guess, it has markers that tell the lumen whether you're burning fat, carbs, a mixture of both, etc. And the goal is to wake up in the morning in a fat burning state, because the goal is to burn some fat overnight while you sleep.
Uh-huh.
Well, I have direct correlation now in watching the data between the scale and the device, because on the 2 weeks where I have had like perfect every morning I woke up burning fat, the weight loss, I lost 4 pounds 1 week and 5 pounds the other week. So 9 pounds total. And then there were 2 weeks where I woke up most of the time burning at least at the best 50-50. Those weeks was 2 pounds and 2 pounds. So I burn more weight. I shed more pounds when I burn more fat, which makes a lot of sense. But my body likes for some reason to burn carbs. So I have to, and I see this in the data. So I have to work on that. And I'm doing a little research. There used to be a diet about nutrient timing. And so I'm looking into that because that may help me. Anyway, it was a fun time at CES. And I look forward to...
We went to Happy Camper Pizza.
Yeah, that's what we had for lunch that day. I love that place.
We forgot our leftovers and our What Happens in Vegas stickers and my sanity at Happy Camper Pizza.
It was crazy. And that was like first week of the year. Yeah.
The 7th or something
The
like
7th.
that. Something like that.
'Cause we went on like the second day of CES.
Yeah.
We went early this year. Last year we went late. But then we got our credentials late too.
Like 3 days before.
This time we knew we had them like way ahead of time. But that was good. So, I'm looking forward to our next show, whatever that may be. I know we just got, what is that, Human X, and that has something to do with technology and AI. So that'll be quite the interesting show to go to.
We will at the very least go live while we're there.
Yeah, it's fun stuff.
So prepare yourself.
All right, people, that's all I got.
Well, on that note, good night, everyone.
Still a bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Nightly Rant.
If you enjoyed the show, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Google Play.
If you didn't enjoy the show, please just ignore that previous request for a rating.
This has been a Yogi's Podcast Network production.